Alright, my friends, we are back with an updated version of how to start your account, how to build it up, how to gain power fast. Being a free to play, a low spender, mid spender, high spender, whatever you may be, this guide should have some information that should be able to help you out. I have played several accounts, both through Rise of Kingdoms and the Call of Dragons, starting all the way back from server 40 up to server 111, then server 387, and now currently I am playing in server 640. I have spent a considerable amount of money on the game and also played both free to play and as a what most would consider a higher spender. Um, some of the information that I have gathered has to do with my own personal experiences, experiences that I've gotten from others, and from some other bigger players in the game. Just talking to them as well. Sorry, I had to turn my fan on. It's a little warm in here. So, I hope that this video does help you out. I will forewarn you, let you know I do have ADD, so I may jump around a little bit. I do apologize about that if I do, or if I confuse you. If I do confuse you, please feel free at any time to message me in game. I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. So, with that being said, let's get started. So, excuse me. At the beginning of the game, the first thing you're going to do is pick your starting faction. Now, don't fret. In the game, if you pick the wrong faction to start, you can change your faction one time for free. Once you reach City Hall level 8, the game will give you a faction change token. So it will let you change it for free one time. After that, if you do want to change factions, you will need to pay. It costs 10,000 gems. So as a free-to-play, low spender, or even a mid-spender, that is a considerable amount of gems. So choose wisely. And I'm here to help you do that. So we're just going to start at the beginning. The first one is going to be Spring Wardens. Now, as you can see, their starting attributes, they do get 5% extra march speed, and their elixir production speed is 5% higher as well. Not the greatest starting attributes in my opinion. Now, however, they do get a pretty good starting hero, which is Guanwin. In Seasons 1 and 2, and kind of earlier in Seasons 3, she is a pretty decent purple commander, or what the game considers an epic commander. So, if you are going to be an archer main, what that means is your primary troop type you're going to focus on is going to be archers. Then what you want to do is pick Spring Wardens to start, but you're going to switch factions later, and I'll explain why. But with that being said, you'll pick Spring Wardens to start so that you can get Guanwin as your starting hero. Now, the only good thing that the Spring Wardens have, in my opinion, they do have Flying Cavalry. The Flying Cavalry are extremely fast and almost impossible to catch unless you also have Flying Cavalry. But their trade-off is they don't do, in my opinion, as much damage as Walderberg's or League of Orders Cavalry. So there is a trade there. They are very good if you want to be what people consider a farm killer, where you go around and killing people's farms, which is a merit hunter, in my opinion. It can be a morale killer to your enemies, so it does help in a way, but they are completely useless on the front lines and in major battles, in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. So with that being said, we're going to go over to the next one, which is going to be Wilderberg. The reason being, that is going to be the faction that you are going to switch to after you pick Spring Wardens to get Guanwin. You will switch over to Wilderberg. Why? Because their starting attributes Legion physical attack plus 3%. So, if you don't know, in this game, you have different types of attack. Well, two main ones. You have physical attack and magic attack. So your magic units are obviously going to deal magic damage. Your infantry, cavalry, and archers will deal physical damage. So, you're going to want to switch to Wilderberg once you hit City Hall level 8, as you will get a buff to physical attack damage, and also when you're fighting your enemy, you do get 10% destruction speed as well. So if you are going to be an infantry main, a cavalry main, or an archer main, you're going to want to pick Wilderberg. The last faction is going to be humans or League of Order. They are who you're going to want to pick if you want to be a mage main. They have what their special unit is, the Celestials. They got two main attributes, as you can read that very last sentence there. After a sustained period of battle, Celestials' magic attack increases, so the longer the battle goes, the more damage they do. Also, the Celestial unit, the magic unit, they have the highest base attack in the game. I personally play as a mage main. And I am a spender, and I love mages. When you get into later seasons, if you make it that far, you will realize mages and infantry are what's going to win your wars. The alliance that has the most infantry and the most magic units typically is going to win. While I will go back here, archers are fun to play, and archers do counter mages, but after Season 3, archers, in my opinion, do drop off a bit. They don't lose damage, but they, to me, are not as effective on the battlefield because they do require a lot of micromanagement. Meaning you have to be very good at controlling your legions, otherwise they're going to fill your hospital up. That's not to be said. I'm not saying archers are bad. Archers deal a lot of damage. A lot. But they have shorter range than magic units. And because of that, they typically sit right behind infantry and often get targeted first. Meaning if you don't know how to control your units and pull them back, then they're just going to get swarmed down and die and fill your hospital, and then you're going to be sad. So, with that being said, archers also are going to be what I would consider more of a mid to high spender unit. If you don't plan to spend money on the game, I personally would stay away from archers because after Season 3, they do have really good archer commanders that come out, but you have to be able to purchase them. Guanwin is good for free-to-play up until then, but after Season 3, if you can't afford to invest in some of the legendary commanders, you're going to be not having as good of a time. Which is why I personally recommend mages. Because even after Season 3, Waldir is still a pretty good commander and can still be fielded in later seasons as a free-to-play player. If you're a spender, I would not recommend it. Obviously, you're going to have better heroes, but Waldir is not bad. So with that being said, I hope that helps you in deciding which faction to choose. So let's move on. Next is going to be what you should focus on, in my opinion, on building. Once you come into the game, a large part of this game is building and developing your city. As a low spender or a free-to-play player, it is very important that you are very effective and efficient in what you do and what you spend your resources on, because you're just not going to be as well off as someone who spends money and buys them. It's not going to happen. Now, that's not to say a free-to-play player can't compete. Later on, as you play the game, later on in the game, free-to-play players, the playing field does level out a little bit, and can be a bit more even. Now, in earlier servers, in Season 1 servers, and Season 2 servers, T5 players or spenders, they're going to wreck. It is what it is. So, with that being said, what you should focus on as a free-to-play player and a low spender is your city hall. So, is your city hall, meaning by the end of Season 1, a free-to-play player should have City Hall level 21 and at least one Tier 4 unit unlocked, which would be your primary unit type, whichever unit you're going to main. And what I mean by main is it is very important that you decide which unit that you want to play and you stick with that unit, especially as free-to-play and low spender, because jumping around and trying to develop heroes and pets and artifacts of different unit types is going to cause you to have several marches that are mediocre, and will cause you to have someone that has one or two really solidly built marches will beat you. And it is what it is. So, again, with that being said, and you'll hear me say that several times, you need to decide which unit type you want to main, and you need to stick with it. As a free-to-play player or low spender, I personally recommend mages, but you can also play with cavalry and archers. As a free-to-play player, I would later on develop an infantry march, but I would not make that my main unit type unless you're going to spend, because infantry are not meant to deal a ton of damage, at least especially in later seasons, and they're going to fill your hospital fast. They are literally meant to be meat shields. So with that being said, let's continue. So, like I say, free-to-play low spender, your goal is to be at City Hall level 21 and at least one Tier 4 unit unlocked. So what that means is you only need to be leveling up the buildings required to get your City Hall to level 21. So you can see here, for me to go from level 8 to level 9, I need to level up my wall, my lumber mill, and I need to build a goblin market. Once you do that, you're going to click on it again, look at it and see what it tells you to go from 9 to 10, and so on and so forth. By the end of Season 1, a free-to-play player should easily be able to hit City Hall level 21 and at least one Tier 4 unit unlocked. Now, there are two other buildings that you are going to level up with your City Hall. And I should have said this to start. Before you level these buildings up to your next level, the first building you're going to level up is going to be your Alliance Center. You're going to keep your Alliance Center the same level as your City Hall, and the reason being, I'll show you. We go in here to information. Every level allows you to get Alliance helps. And so you want to keep it the same level as your city hall. What those alliance helps do, and I'll show you, I'll click on it here, level up, and I'm going to click the help icon, and I'm in a pretty dead alliance. I just picked a random alliance. Okay, I got one help. Okay, so what it does is if you come here to help and look, so I've gotten 2 helps, and so you see it's reduced 3 minutes off of that building. The more helps you get, the more time it reduces. So I'm up to 4 now, 5 now, so we're up to 5. And it's taken 7 minutes off that building. So again, you want to keep your alliance center the same level as your hall of order, and you want to keep your college of order the same level as your hall of order as well. When you're leveling up your hall of order, this is what you're going to use to do your research on. Alright? Your research is what's going to develop your city. This allows you to gather ore, so on and so forth. Architecture reduces or gives you a higher building speed. Scholarship, allows you to research things faster. So you're going to keep your research hall the same level as your hall of order for 2 reasons. 1, the higher the level it is, the faster research speed that you have. And 2, as you level up your college of order, you're also going to get more research that you can do. Now, for research, what you're going to work on as you're leveling up, you're going to have 4 main researches to work on before you do anything else. The first one is going to be Architecture 1. Why? Because it's going to give you 15% more building speed. I see a lot of people that just skip through this, or some of them will go straight to the War Tech. Yes, War Tech is good, especially in early seasons when you're getting everything established. But as a free-to-play player and a low spender, Architecture is a must. You must level this up every time before you start leveling up your other buildings to go to the next level. The next one you're going to work on, as you could have guessed, is going to be Scholarship. This gives you higher research speed, 10% research speed. This research here is going to make research in all of these other ones faster. And I said you had 4 to work on. The next one is going to be Architecture 2. It's going to give you higher build speed. This gives you 30% more build speed. So this makes you level up your buildings 30% faster. And then the last one you're going to do is going to be Scholarship. Ideally, you want to do Scholarship first and then Architecture. Scholarship 2 at max is going to give you another 15% research speed. After you get these leveled up, then you're going to start working on your other researches around here. Now, as a free-to-play player, I would highly recommend always having 1 economy research going and 1 military research going. And the way you're going to choose your military research is going to be based on your unit type. So if you're a mage man, you're going to do magic protection. You're going to move down to ranged assault, to magic skills. Then you're going to unlock your Vestals, and eventually, now you're going to have to unlock all 3 of the tier 3, all 4 of the tier 4 units. God dang it, I said it wrong. All 4 of the tier 3 units before you can move on. But so on and so forth. You're going to work on your War Tech, and you're going to max out the unit tech of your primary unit type as far as you can go until it requires you to do tech for other unit types. Then you're going to go back and do those. So, as far as research, it's very simple. You're going to do Architecture and Scholarship 1 and 2 before you do any other tech, and as a free-to-play player, you're always going to have one econ tech going and one war tech going. Are there more effective ways to do it? Yes, there can be. But ideally, that's what I found that works the best for most individuals. You can tailor the experience around a little bit more based on how your server is going. For instance, if your server is in a lot of war, especially early on, you may have to adjust down and have two on war tech and so on and so forth. So it is kind of situational. But with that being said, that's kind of how you want to do it. Now, I have went over what faction to choose, what buildings to do, what research to do. Now, the next thing is going to be what heroes to do, what pets to do, and for those of you that are also interested, what to spend on. So, with that being said, we will continue that in part 2. I know this video seems very simple, and it is very simple, but you would be very surprised at how people get very excited, including myself, and how they jump around a lot. So, with that being said, I will see y'all in the next video. We will go over on what to spend on as a free-to-play. Well, obviously free-to-play don't spend, but as a low spender, mid-spender, high spender. Also, the hero combinations that you're going to want to have in Seasons 1, 2, 3, and so forth and so on. I'll go over the talent trees, the pets, and things like that as well. So stay tuned for part 2, and I will see y'all in the next one.